Physical activity. What is the recommended weekly amount? What is binge drinking? Do the UK have a problem with this? What lifestyle factors may affect the amount of alcohol consumed? A weekly amount of exercise for children. They should do at least 2 hours of exercise per week. For all people aged between the age of 5 to 16, it is the law, and they will do this during school time and PE lessons to make sure they do it. Children between the age of 5 and 18 should be doing 1 hour of exercise a day. This can be between moderate and intense exercise. They can get involved in after school clubs and activities out of school. They can do intense sports like football, rugby, swimming and cycling, and moderate exercise like walking and playground activities. Adults aged between the age of 19 and 64 should do 2 hours and 30 minutes of exercise a week, as long as they are healthy enough to take part in sport. They should do moderate to intense sports like walking and playing badminton, to things like playing football. Binge drinking. By having 8 or more units of alcohol in one session for men and having 6 or more units in one session for women, this is what the NHS would class as binge drinking. Although this doesn't apply to everyone, as some people can handle their drink better than others, it's an average. It costs the NHS £3.5 billion a year, as people need counselling, group sessions and medical costs because of drinking. They also spend 91 million on treatments. This will cover things like liver transplant. There are 1.6 billion problem drinkers in the UK. People tend to drink more at events like football games and parties. Because of drink in 2011, 8,078 people died and 49,456 were taken into hospital with liver disease. There's a lot of reasons why people drink. For example, due to stress from work or family lifestyle, they do this as drink will help them get through the rest of the day. Another reason is social drinking, so they can go out with their friends on a night out. Some people would drink to forget about problems they have and use it as a stress relief. Risks associated if you do not achieve the amount of exercise. What is diseases and how obesity leads to it. If you do not do the recommended amount of weekly exercise, you start to gain lots of weight, as you will not be fit and healthy. Once you start to get overweight, it's very hard to lose the weight. It's extremely easy to gain weight. It really isn't that hard if you don't have a healthy diet and don't do exercise, especially if you have an unhealthy diet and don't do exercise. But it will take you so much longer to get rid of all the weight than it did to actually put it on in the first place. In the UK, 64% of adults are classed as being overweight or obese. It's predicted that a huge increase in heart attack, strokes and diabetes will be caused because of people being obese and overweight. And if you are obese and overweight, then your chances are higher of having things like heart attack, strokes and diabetes. Globally, the percent of the adults who are overweight or obese classed as having a body mass index greater than 25 grew from 23% to 34% between 1980 and 2008. You can get heart disease, lung disease, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, heart attacks and strokes from being overweight and not doing enough exercise, therefore causing yourself to be overweight. Not only does this affect the person it happens to, but it will also affect their family and friends. Physiological effects if you drink too much or refuse social drinking. If you consume a lot of alcohol on a regular basis, then you will become dependent on it. every day you feel like you need a drink and you cannot get through the day without a drink. You will become dependent on alcohol if you're stressed and you have low self-esteem, so people will drink to try and get rid of their problem of stress, but actually they're just causing themselves a health problem by doing that. Lots of people drink under peer pressure from friends. If you don't want to drink socially, then you might feel like you'll lose your friends. So you could find yourself socially drinking when you don't really want to, just because you don't want to lose your friends or you don't want to be like taunted or goaded by your friends. It's just easier to drink. Alcohol. What is the recommended weekly amount? Frequency, intensity, time type. What lifestyle factors may affect the amount you drink? The recommended weekly amount for men is 3 to 4 units per day, and women should only drink 2 to 3 units. Of course, if you don't drink at all, that's even better, and really the aim is to drink to really not drink on a regular basis. Lots of people go over this amount. This is due to having like binge drinking sessions, so going out on a Friday, Saturday night and having a binge drinking session. Then normally most people have quite taken up their weekly amount within that one day and will still carry on drinking, so find themselves way over the amount that they should actually be drinking. There's a lot of reasons why people drink. For example, due to stress from work or family life pressures. They feel like it relieves the pressures and the stress. They do this as the drink helps them get through the rest of the day. Another reason is social drinking, so go out with your friends on a night out, and like I said, peer pressure is some of the reasons why people maybe drink and drink as much. There's a better way of sorting out problems than having a drink, and hope the problems go away, and they normally don't. People drink because they feel like all their problems disappear, when actually their problems don't disappear, and they normally just build up, and they're just really burying their head in the sand with drink. 1 unit is a small glass of wine or half a pint of beer. Risk associated if you do not achieve this amount of exercise. If you don't do the recommended amount of weekly exercise, you will start to gain a lot of weight. This is because alcohol has a lot of calories in it, and it's very easy to gain weight. If you go out on a binge drinking session one night, you can gain like hundreds, if not thousands, if you drink enough calories. Because alcohol has so many calories in it, it's one of the easiest ways to put on weight. Once you start to get overweight, it's very hard to lose the weight if you carry on drinking, so it doesn't matter how healthy you eat, how much exercise you do, if you're still drinking regularly whilst doing that, then you're not really going to lose that much weight. You won't see much change, so it's almost pointless to do it. So in the UK, like I said, 64% of adults are classed as being overweight, and like I said again, this is increasing chances of getting heart attack and obesity. And it doesn't just affect you, of course, it affects family members if you were to get one of these diseases from drinking. You also get an increased chance of getting certain types of cancer, so like liver cancer, liver failure, through drinking excessive amounts. Physiological effects, if you are healthy and if you're not healthy. If you're healthy, you'll be able to do everyday things, also take part in other things like sports. You will be a lot less stressed about things happening in your life. You'll be able to be a lot happier in yourself. There's a lot less chance of you becoming ill, and if you're making sure you eat a healthy diet and doing exercises will also make you stay at a good weight and keep you healthy and fit, be able to do more tasks, and you'll find strenuous tasks more easier to do. Whereas if you're unhealthy, then you may not feel like you're able to take part in other activities like sport. This will not help your fitness levels and you won't be able to become more healthy. You may become more stressed at work and at home. This could lead to you feeling more depressed than you already do and feel like that you can't actually go a day without drinking. If you are overweight and drink, you're more likely to be stressed than someone who is fit and doesn't. Be more likely to have a poor diet, which will not help your health and make you even less healthy than you already are. Smoking. What is the recommended weekly amount? What lifestyle factors affect the amount you smoke? There isn't a recommended daily or weekly amount to someone, because you shouldn't smoke. Some people smoke a lot during the day and some people smoke hardly anything. Some people are chain smokers, which basically means they're lighting another cigarette as soon as they finish the one they've just had, which is really unhealthy, because obviously you're constantly putting smoke and ash into your lungs. A light smoker is someone who would say smoke like less than 10 cigarettes a day, and a heavy smoker is someone who smokes like anywhere between, I would say, like 40 plus, so like 40 to 60, which is about 2 to 3 packets of cigarettes. Obviously, like you shouldn't really smoke at all, so there's not really a recommended daily amount that you should smoke, because it's bad for you. Some of the reasons and facts why you might smoke is if you have like a really stressful job, then you might find it like smoking takes your mind off it, releases stress, it gives you a break and you can forget about your day, and also like some people are just addicted to it, so they just can't, they've got themselves addicted to nicotine, they just can't stop, and it's easier to carry on than try stopping. Also, if you're depressed, then smoking help you feel better, can help your self-esteem, relax and forget about what's making you unhappy and why you're depressed. If you have friends that smoke, then you could do it under peer pressure. You could also be socially smoking, so maybe smoking when you're going out drinking. And also you could be a passive smoker, so you may not necessarily smoke yourself, but someone in your family does, which obviously isn't great for you to be standing, because obviously you're going to get some of that ash into your lungs as well, which isn't going to help your health. Risk associated if you smoke, and why is it bad for you? If you smoke, you have more chance of getting heart disease, cancer, lung infection, lung disease, any type of lung illness really. You may feel like it's relieving your stress and makes you feel less depressed, but really it's actually not helping, because you're just kind of preventing why you're feeling depressed. You're not actually sorting it out, you're just kind of preventing it. 100,000 people die in the UK from smoking each year. If you smoke, you're going to have 10 less years than someone, you're going to live 10, on average you'll live 10 less years than someone who's a non-smoker. 60% of smokers in the UK would find it hard to go a day without a cigarette. It's bad for you because once you get addicted to it, it's extremely hard to stop. And you're not just affecting yourself, but you're also affecting family and friends, because the cost of smoking is a lot of money, and not only that, but you can actually not just affect your health, but affect someone who lives with health. If they're breathing in your smoke, so being a passive smoker, then you can also affect their health a bit. Physiological effects: if you are a smoker and non-smoker. If you smoke, then you might think that you need another, or you're going to be stressed about your day or whatever's happening. Because cigarettes have nicotine in them, this becomes addictive and hard for the person to stop. They think they would need to have one to stop feeling so stressed. People think that it makes you relaxed, but that's only really what your brain's telling you. It doesn't actually stop you from doing that. People who depend on smoking need it to help them get through stress and depressing situations. And if you don't smoke, then obviously mentally your mental health's a lot better. You'll physically and mentally feel better in yourself. You won't it'd be good that you don't have to rely on something to make you feel better, because that's essentially what people can use smoking for. It can also help you boost your self-esteem. If you feel like you don't need so if your friends ask you to smoke and you say no, I don't want to do that, and they're fine with it, they can boost your self-esteem, make you feel like you can be more like you want to be. Stress. What is stress? What may cause it in everyday life? Stress is mental and physical and can affect you in everyday life. It can be little things like work or what's going on at home. This can make you stressed. It can also be things like the environment and people you live with that can also make you stressed and depressed. Things like anxiety and tension, for example, can make you stressed and depressed, because simple things like getting on a busy bus or train could bring on anxiety and tension, which will then obviously make you stressed about the